This video just went live on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, announcing a new civilization, which by the way means a new epic commander. We have new KvK formats coming out every 3 to 4 months. Oh, and ranged combat coming to Rise of Kingdoms, as in your ranged units now actually fight from a distance. So stick around in this video for this absolutely insane information drop on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and I cannot believe the information that they've just shared with us. And maybe I'm just hyped because I don't think they have ever sat down and said, hey, here is all the things we have planned for the next year. But that is what we are about to get in this video. And maybe it's not everything they have planned, but they have big stuff cooking up for Rise of Kingdoms. So we're going to hear it straight from a producer of the game. I am going to read the subtitles over here, as this video is not in English, and I'll do my own interpretation of what I'm seeing and give you just the highlights, okay? Because they actually go really fast through a lot of things. So they want to get right into it. What is the dev team working on? They remind us there's a lot of civilizations in Rise of Kingdoms, each with different experiences, and in the future, we'd like to bring even more civilizations into Rise of Kingdoms. New civs, POG. We all love that, right? So what goes into the work of designing a new civilization? He's going to go on to tell us that they read a ton of the history, watch films related to the civilizations. They ask for feedback from outside experts, which is kind of amazing, like overseas experts who probably like really know the stuff and are from those countries. Like, hey, you tell me, is this accurate? And if we can, we go visit museums in those countries to gather more reference materials. They're serious, man. Now, we're just putting the finishing touches on a new civilization. Let's freaking go, baby. We have 2 archers on screen and maybe 2 infantry. Maybe that's a cavalry commander. Or not commander, but like unit. It's just not on his horse. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at. I do think that those are production buildings, and then that's the monument probably for this new civilization. I've heard people guess that it's Russia. I've heard people guess that it's Persia. I've heard people guess that it's Vietnam. I don't know what the new civ is, but leave a comment down below with your thoughts. And I want to remind everybody that every time they've released a new civilization, they release a new epic commander. So I think we're getting a new epic commander as well. Let's freaking go. So hype. So freaking hype, man. Also, well, if you could read the text on that screen for the file names, maybe they said what civilization it was on the file names. They look too blurry. I don't think you could tell. So they try for each civilization to feel rich and dynamic and unique and entertaining. And let's be real, the only thing I care about is the actual stats. Yeah, the way the unit looks is like sort of cool, and the way your city looks is sort of cool. But let's be real, we're all in it for the stats, for the bonuses, for the special unit. All right, just saying. Throwing it out there. What should we expect from Stories in 2022? So Stories is the season of conquest. They're going to be increasing the pace of development of KvK stories. This is what you wanted to hear, baby. New KvK story every 3 to 4 months. Pump the brakes and freaking get your... I'm so hyped. Hype through the roof, man. I was going to say, get your hype going through the roof. I mean, look, I'll see it when I believe it, but also I am very eager to believe it because I made a video, how to save Rise of Kingdoms. I literally titled it that. And in that video, I said the bread and butter of this game is delivering great KvK experiences. And what they're telling us here in this awkward photo where I've paused it, his eyes are closed, is that they are bringing us a new KvK experience as often as we play them, just about, which is so hype. I am so hyped for that. Variety is the spice of life. While you'll be experiencing a new story every 3 to 4 months, we'll be working behind the scenes to develop multiple stories at the same time. So that's how they're going to do it, is they're actually working on a ton of these stories all at once. And what also makes me kind of hyped about this is like Lilith could easily just sort of fund the next game that they make, whatever that is, with the money that they're making from Rise of Kingdoms. But obviously, if they're going to be making multiple KvK stories simultaneously, they are reinvesting a large amount of the money they make from ROK back into ROK, which is like, that's what we want, right? A more varied game experience across these different formats of KvK. For example, With the Desert Conquest KvK, players will take control of fortresses, dispatch troops, and enjoy a rich strategic element. This is very true. We think some players will really appreciate this kind of gameplay. Tell us why. Our goal is designing this mode is it will satisfy two different demands. The first demand was from players who aren't able to get online to participate in the KvK as often as they'd like. So this lets you be a team player, by the way, even if you can't be there for your team because, like, you know, you have a life or you go to work. And the other group, oh, yes, the general will be commanding those troops. And that's a different type of gameplay as well. So for the people who wanted to, like, command other people's troops, huzzah, you get something new. For the people who can't always be there, you get something new because you can actually contribute even when you can't be there. I think solving a problem like that with the KvK format is going to be really interesting to see. Will it work? Will it not work? I actually am about to do the Desert KvK on my Kingdom 2 account. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider doing so, especially if you're getting value from this video, because you will get to see the Desert KvK right when it lands. So they're looking at a bunch of completely different gameplay directions. For example, NPCs who can join battle or more guild versus enemy. So for example, guild versus enemy is probably like Shadow Legion. I think they're talking about like Shadow Legion there. So we're hoping to enrich the ways that you can play with more choices for diverse stories. And that's the direction for 2022. Hot damn, that's freaking awesome. What is being done to make the map battles more dynamic? This is legendary. Map battles are a core part of Rise of Kingdoms. We're hoping to make the tactical aspect of the game more fun and the combat experience more fun. We tried out naval warfare, giving you more dynamic decisions in battle. And let me just pause it to say the most fun I have ever had in Rise of Kingdoms and the hardest I have laughed in as long as I can remember in my entire life was when we did a freaking 5 infantry barge rush in this game mode the night that it arrived in Kingdom 2. I cannot remember. I cry laughed so hard I went off screen because I couldn't handle it. I was done, man. I was live streaming. It was so funny. Card will be up in the top if you want to watch that, okay? So they want these more dynamic, fast-paced things. I like this so much more than Champions of Olympia. So much more. We're introducing ranged battles. Pump the freaking brakes. Ranged battles where you attack at a distance. There is a distance advantage system. So like your archers actually shoot from a distance. Do you realize how important this is for Rise of Kingdoms combat? Just think about it. Ark of Osiris brawls in the middle right now, or big KvK brawls. You just have just this glob of marches all just doing their damage. Okay, but what if in the future there's like a row of infantry marches and then the archers are behind them shooting arrows into the enemy and your cavalry are actually strategically maneuvering around to get to the archers, right? And your archers reposition to, you know, I'm like holding a pike over here to hold off the cavalry. Like, this could completely change the experience of the game. This could be moving the game a step in the direction of being more like Age of Empires, right? Where you've got real-time combat, medieval stuff. Or if you've played StarCraft, like you have units that shoot from range and units that are up close. This is a massive investment in the future of the game. Like, if you were wondering, is Lilith thinking about the future of the game and the genre? And I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, but in case I didn't, like, Rise of Kingdoms is rank 3 for strategy right now on iPad. It's rank 2 for roleplay games on iPad, for whatever, role-playing, whatever. It is a top-ranked game. It is the #1 game for this genre. Not strategy games, but for, like, this specific type of strategy game. And they're not... Look, like, I try a lot of these games. None of them have real-time combat like Rise of Kingdoms. And it is... I'm so hyped that they're not just like, yeah, okay, we're done. We did it. We made the newest, hottest thing. Nobody's done it. But they're actually going a step further so that, like, I don't know how you even compete with Rise of Kingdoms if they make this ranged combat with formation possibilities actually good. Like, I genuinely... I don't know how people are going to try to compete. So it won't just consist of hand-to-hand combat. The introduction of ranged combat will provide players with a richer strategic experience. The outcome of battles will not be determined by the number of troops you have, but also by the careful employment of formations. Pause the video. If that doesn't make free-to-play players hyped, I don't know what will. I genuinely don't. What they just said is you can outmaneuver a more powerful enemy. That's literally the translation. Okay, so yes, a whale that understands the formations and how to set up will do better, but like more dimensions in which game knowledge gives you an advantage is awesome. I'm hyped for this. Let's keep going. It could just be that I'm recording at 1 a.m. and I'm a little loopy, but I'm like energy level through the roof. So we have spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, how to best integrate range battles into the game. We recently been making demos and test builds. That, by the way, shows you how far away they are for actually having this done. I think this is going to take, I would say like maybe mid-year we'll have this. Like if we have this in June, I mean, maybe I'm just being, I don't know, cautious in how long I think it's going to take them. But I think if we have this in June, by the time they make prototypes, test the prototypes, actually balance the way the combat works, and then get it into a build, I think it's going to be a while, right? The SLG combat has always been melee. Right. This is him saying like, oh, by the way, we're about to drop a bomb on the industry. GG. It's always been melee, even when archer units are involved, and ROK is no exception. Since this is breaking the mold, nobody's done this. We want to make sure we get it right. Introducing range combat will be a big change. I mean, I say nobody's done this in this particular genre. Like Age of Empires exists. You can have range units and melee units and cavalry units and siege units all operate differently. And like, it has been done, but not in a mobile game, I think. And if you know of a mobile game that's sorted all this stuff out, I want to know about it, okay? Please leave a comment right away. I want to know. So we appreciate your patience while we make the system the best that it can be. Awesome. Once we figured it out, we'll introduce it to the game as soon as we can. And yeah, sweet. What improvements are made to stories? That's Season of Conquest, I think. As well as more frequent new seasons for Season of Conquest stories. Improvements to older stories will be a major part of 2022. Okay, I am listening. Beginning with KvK Season 1, we'll be completely redesigning the KvK Season 1 map. Let me just pump the brakes for a moment and tell you how significant this is. These guys are so confident in the future of Rise of Kingdoms that they are redesigning a KvK experience that only new players have. You can't migrate back to KvK Season 1. So they are so confident about the future of the game that they want to make sure that new players have a good experience. This is very promising, I think. I think the developers actually like really understand the value of making sure people like experience what KvK is like. And I'll let them explain it. This is a huge undertaking because, whoa, by the way, we hope to quicken up the game and provide more playable areas to players all the time. I got to pause it again. More playable areas to players all the time means they don't want you to get shut out and locked in your starting zone, which can happen today the second you like have your first opportunity to bust into a new zone. So what I think this means is it will probably end up looking more like Light and Darkness KvK. Not that I think that's like the best flavor of KvK in the world, but what I'm saying is it sure does make sense that a new player should see what it's like to go into some different zones, to capture some different structures, to have the opportunity to actually play the damn KvK for their first experience, right? Like, we want people to play to the end game, so we have people to play with in the end game. So, yes, a good new player experience just makes sense, right? And you get to KvK so fast these days. It's crazy. It's so crazy. All right, so they want people to have stuff to do at all times, and we're aware of a number of outstanding balance issues. This is big, by the way. When 8 kingdoms compete in a KvK, for example, it's possible for the first and last kingdoms to be very far apart in age, which leads to unfair circumstances. Their translation, I mean, they're saying like it's not fair for a really young kingdom to fight a really old kingdom. So where we think it's appropriate, what do they want to do? Where we think it's appropriate, we're looking to reduce the number of participating kingdoms to allow them to match with other kingdoms closer to the same age. That makes a ton of sense. I mean, I got to pause it again. It makes a ton of sense. I've been saying for a while, I want a KvK format with just 2 kingdoms, 1v1. A KvK format with 3 kingdoms, because that sounds like a really good free-for-all format, okay? Maybe. Maybe that doesn't. I want formats with different numbers of players with a map design that's appropriate. How about that? And look, since they're making a new format every 3 to 4 months, they're going to have to get creative. One of the dimensions is how many kingdoms play it. We've received a lot of feedback from people saying that the 2 to 3 month period isn't much fun after you spent 1.5 to 2 months to take Kingsland. So what he just said, translation, we know that the game is boring between KvKs relative to the excitement of KvK. Right? That's what they're saying. We're like, oh yeah, that's kind of a lull. So what are they going to do? We'll be making some improvements, and we've already in the middle of some redesigns. We'll hope you'll enjoy it. Oh, tell me more. What a cliffhanger, man. So what they just said is we want the time between seasons of KvK to be more exciting. Yes, I think we all agree wholeheartedly, 100%. So, I mean, this is so good. What new narrative and gameplay events can we look forward to, Pog? What do we got here? What do we got? In 2022, we'll be putting more work into narrative and gameplay events, allowing players to enjoy a richer gameplay experience. We want to have narratives for holiday events for a long time. I think they're talking about like the Christmas event with Jadwiga. Is that right? That put so many civilizations and commanders together in the same world. Ah, the story. The story I always skip, except when I read it all to you because it's freaking hilarious. It's a source of inspiration on many fronts, and we want players to be able to learn from it, so we tried it out in this year's summer festival and Christmas events, and getting better each time. I actually can agree that, like, I like that they're trying it. I actually find the dialogue very fun. Even though I poke fun at it, I'm a content creator. That's like my job. It's entertaining. I'm making it entertaining, I hope. In 2022, what do they want to do? We're hoping to further iterate on narrative gameplay. We're looking for ways that the narrative can unfold on the map, which, by the way, could be awesome or could be miserable. Like, I don't want to walk 20 minutes to get the next piece of dialogue if that's the only reason I walk 20 minutes. So I like the idea of immersing ourselves in the map. I dislike the idea of doing so just to make me run all over the place. Just throwing it out there. In case you're listening, Lilith, just throwing it out there. They like the dialogue between the two commanders. New types of gameplay and events are possible. We're constantly looking for ways to enrich the visuals and the audio. For example, I couldn't believe this. They're hiring professional voice actors. Give me Bruce Willis. Let's go. To produce these dialogues in the recording studio. I don't know who Bruce Willis would play, by the way. We hope everyone will enjoy the narrative to the event. I enjoy it. I'll voice act for you. I have a nice microphone. Let's go. I don't have the best voice, but we've been working to improve the gameplay. In the future, there will be more map events like treasure outlaws for you to experience. Love it. We're always looking into new types of gameplay and events. Maybe in the future, dream big. A Rise of Kingdoms Battle Royale. Look. I get that Battle Royale is overdone, but I like where their head's at. They are thinking big. Battle Royale is popular, man. I really enjoy Battle Royale. I actually played a game on my second channel that was a Battle Royale game. Card will be up in the top. Second channel. Let's go, Pug. Okay. Let's keep going, man. What is the progress of the PC port? Tell me more. How's the PC version? This is important. Well, the players are looking forward to the PC version. You know, I've been saying for a while that they're just going to keep delaying until they make sure it's not buggy AF. And I think it's good that they do that. And that's basically what they tell us here. We're still working on it. Thanks for being patient. I mean, I don't know what we expected. They're not giving us a release date because they don't want to commit to something, but then have to delay it. That would suck. So, okay, don't commit until it's ready. I get it. That makes a ton of sense. In 2022, we'll continue to work hard to bring you the best game experience we can. We wish all governors the best of luck as they forge their own legacy and heroism in the many different cultures of the land. Is that what? And we wish you a happy Year of the Tiger. God, it goes so fast. Wow. This update is gangbuster, man. The future of Rise of Kingdoms is looking bright. Never have the developers had just sat down with us and been like, here's your year, baby. And if they actually get formations good, that is going to be so much fun for the game. If they get that right, man, that is going to be so much fun. If archers actually shoot from a distance, siege units actually shoot from a distance. I don't know how that changes the balance of stats that you'll prioritize or a lot of things, but gosh bless, man. This is going to be a fun year to play Rise of Kingdoms. I'm hyped. I'm eager for your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know again what civilization you think this is, what their special unit is going to be. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. It's a good time to be a governor, man. Oh, I'm hyped. Or maybe I'm just loopy because it's like 1 a.m. and I'm going to be editing this until 2 a.m. But you know, maybe I'll just leave this in the video because maybe it'll be funny. Maybe.